Okay, we're coming up on the time, so I'm going to start the program. And we will resume
Recording
recording.
in progress.
And I'm going to start our live stream for our LinkedIn audience. Got it. All right. So welcome to this career information session in which you'll learn about the Cloud Computing Bootcamp from Caltech Center for Technology and Management Education. And my name is Stuart Creek. I am with Simplilearn. We are the delivery partner for Caltech for this program. So let's get started. I'm going to tell you about cloud computing careers. We have a substitution in our auxiliary speaker. Mike Ash is not available today, but I will be sharing with you some comments from one of our senior instructors about how this boot camp prepares you. We'll talk about learner outcomes and share with you enrollment steps, including a bonus offer for those of you who are here today because you showed up to the webinar. So stay tuned for that. I'll take your questions toward the end. Please put those into the Q&A box. If you are on our streaming service, you can put those into the chat or comment box of your streaming service, LinkedIn or YouTube, and you should be able to get those over to me. But I'll take the questions toward the end. If you're on the Zoom session, please put those into the Q&A. And the About You part is where I'm going to be asking you some polls along the way to learn a little bit more about you in the audience. So with that, let's get started. Well, about careers in cloud computing, and I assume that you're all here because you are interested in pursuing a career in cloud computing. You're already in the field or whether you're going to enter the field. But cloud computing is the backbone of the digital economy. It's what makes everything possible, from the apps on our mobile devices to software as a service to all of the many websites that we go to, from social media to e-commerce to banking to everything else that we do. And it's the reason why when the pandemic hit, we were all able to transition to work from home, or at least all of us that were told to, were able to make that transition because cloud computing allows for not only the distribution of information over networks that form the cloud, but also commoditized storage and commoditized computing and distribution, so that companies that want to start businesses in the digital space no longer have to build out a huge data center, mainframe computers, in order to serve a global audience. You can do it by going to your friendly cloud provider, Amazon or Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud or any of several others, and asking them to just provision you virtual computing services, storage services, and network access on an as-needed basis. And the wonderful thing is that it's also scalable, so that you're able to handle jumps in demand. If the thing that you have invented becomes the next hot, shiny object that everybody has to have, then you're able to scale up very quickly because of cloud services. And also, of course, companies like Amazon are able to scale up and down based on seasonal demand. So cloud computing has really transformed the world, and especially within the last several years. Along with the software as a services market, which is going to grow to $120 billion. We're looking at these numbers. These are from last year, so need to update these. But the markets are growing at an incredible pace. So, $300 billion 2021. We're on a pace to hit $500 billion within the next several years. So it's a huge field. It's a very growing field, and every company depends on it. And so you have the ability to pursue a number of different career paths, cloud computing field. You can be a cloud architect once you've gained experience and understand how to configure the infrastructure and match it to the needs of your organization. Along the way, you can be a cloud engineer, cloud developer. You can specialize in database, distributed cloud databases. You can specialize in security or the DevOps cycle for software development and deployment in a cloud environment. So all of these skills, it says blockchain, but it should be cloud. All of these skills open up great career paths for you. So you need up-to-date skills to be a cloud practitioner. To be effective in the industry, you need what's called a T-shaped skill set, which is a broad understanding of the cloud computing field, and then deep understanding of whichever area you want to specialize in. So being able to select among cloud providers, because you have a number of different options between public cloud services or configuring private cloud services, application migration to move existing traditional non-cloud services to the cloud environment, doing performance testing and workload modeling, security for identity access management, and database security, disaster recovery, auto scaling to handle the surges in demand that I mentioned, understanding how the database management is done differently when it's distributed in the cloud environment, being able to do things like multi-cloud deployment, and mixing and matching, and storage services, understanding how those are provisioned. So you need to have a broad range of skills in order to be successful, because then you can understand what role your particular specialty plays within that range. So let me ask a question of our audience. Start. What's stopping you? And I'm curious to know why you haven't enrolled in a program of this type so far. Is it because you can't find one that covers all of those skills we talked about? Is it because you don't have the confidence that you'd end up with practical experience that you could use to demonstrate your new skills? Is it because your learning style doesn't work with watching videos? Or is it because you haven't found time in your work schedule? So I'm going to let this run for another 5 seconds and I'll close the poll. Get your answers in, and here we go. So the main worry that people have is that they wouldn't get a practical experience out of a program that they would then be able to use to show off to their employer or a prospective new employer. And that makes sense, because if you are learning from pre-recorded videos, kind of a self-paced isolation mode, it's kind of difficult to develop a portfolio of projects. So we'll talk about that, because this program is designed differently. This program is designed as an online boot camp, delivered entirely online, so you can access it from anywhere in your life. You can go from your laptop, desktop, and even access materials on your mobile device. But the curriculum, which I'll describe, is a comprehensive curriculum. It's aligned to the needs of industry. Caltech CTME works directly with many companies to train their staff and executives, and they understand needs that companies have for the skill sets of the people they hire. So this is why they've designed this curriculum in this way. The online environment is completely integrated so that you take your classes live online through that environment. You access all of your study materials online in that environment, and you do your labs and projects online in that environment. So you don't have to acquire a separate system in order to be able to do that. But you do have online virtual live classrooms where you interact directly with your instructors, ask them questions, they ask you questions, and you can interact with your classmates, and you meet with them on basically a weekly basis, Saturday and Sundays, 4 hours each. And then in the between time, between class sessions, you have the ability to do all of your prep work and classwork and projects on your own schedule. So you're working at 3 o'clock in the morning, but if you happen to be doing that and you find that you come across some type of question that stumps you or that you need help with, we have a 24/7 support system that allows you to interact not only with your peers, but with other instructors and with our 24/7 help desk to ask about um, subject matter or to deal with any issues that you might have using the platform. So you get full support, and you can take this course on your schedule. It requires you to plan for about 10 to 15 hours a week for 6 months, but it's something that you can fit into almost any working lifestyle. So with that, I need to make a quick check of something real quick. 1 second. All right, here we go. Sorry about that. So let's talk about what you get at the end of the process. And at the end of the process, you have a certificate from Caltech that certifies that you have completed all the core courses satisfactorily, that you've done all the project work, and that you've done the all-important Capstone Project, which gives you something to put in your portfolio to demonstrate that you have, in fact, mastered the skills of cloud computing. So this is uh, not only a certificate, but it is backed up with a portfolio of your work that you can show as your practical experience. Caltech offers you 15 credits of uh, continuing education units. Is that, hold on a second. And 15 CEUs are for people who are in a field or a job that requires you to show your employer or to show regulatory agencies or government bodies that you are continuing your education on an ongoing basis. So you, for example, have a professional license and need to show that you've gotten a certain amount of continuing education to keep that license. This is CEUs are for. Caltech CTME Circle membership is an online alumni association that you can network with people who have gone through Caltech training, CTME programs. So that's a great benefit. And we will recognize you at an online convocation where the program director will call you out by name. This is something where you can invite your friends and family to see you being honored for your accomplishment. Last but not least, we offer you career assistance, and I'll describe that in more detail. Caltech CTME is part of Caltech, California Institute of Technology, a 130-year-old private institution. It is not part of the California University of California system or California State University system. It's a private institution. It specializes in research, so very few undergraduates, mostly graduate students and research labs. That includes the um, Jet Propulsion Lab of NASA, where satellites and deep space probes are designed and built. So it's a pretty amazing institution. And if you are a fan of the television show with Big Bang Theory, there's a reason why they set it at Caltech. It's because that's where the best and the brightest congregate. One of the places in the world where you find a very high concentration of Nobel Prize winners, people who earned their Nobel Prize for research they did at Caltech, or who earned a Nobel Prize and then went to Caltech to further their research. Consistently ranks in the top 5 universities worldwide, and it's something that people will recognize on your resume. So, very valuable addition to your personal CV. So, this is a boot camp program, and it's pretty special because it has very open requirements. Not um, a postgraduate program. This is a program that's open to anyone who has a high school diploma and is at least 18 years of age and who has the aptitude and desire to work in cloud computing. You do not have to have prior work experience. You don't even have to have programming experience because all of the programming skills that you need will be provided to you as part of the program. If you need some basic understanding, we have pre-courses that will get you up to speed at that level. And then within the program itself, you'll be learning whatever programming and scripting languages you need to use. So with that, I'm going to ask another question, if I may. And this one is, what is your level of experience? So are you currently studying for, say, your bachelor's degree? Are you in the workforce? And if you're in the workforce, how long have you been there? That refers to any formal work experience, not specifically cloud computing. I'm going to let this run for about another 10 seconds as people get their answers in. And we'll close the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so almost 90% of the folks are out of school, in the workforce, with half of you with more than 5 years of experience. So this is a seasoned audience. I'll share with you how this program works for you as well as for people who are brand new in the industry. So how the program prepares you, and what I'm going to do is describe the program, and then I'm going to have one of our senior instructors, Purushottam Asadani, uh, share with you a tour of the learning environment itself. So first, let's talk about the curriculum. And I mentioned you need a comprehensive curriculum to cover all the skills that you might want to use in cloud computing so that you can then have a solid foundation for specializing in a particular area. Um, so this program starts with an orientation session, which is sort of virtual freshman orientation. It shows you the learning environment, how to control it, where to find your curriculum, how to navigate through that, where to find your live classes, your study materials, your project and lab environment, how to use all of that, how to access your support. So that's a basic orientation. And then once you've gotten that, you move into cloud fundamentals. And we've chosen AWS as the first platform to expose you to because, of course, AWS is the largest of the platforms at this point. But this will give you a practical foundation of how cloud computing works. Then you'll move into designing applications and architectures in AWS, which means you'll be given challenges to create actual cloud computing environments that are useful for a particular industry aligned problem. The exercises will get you familiar with the tools and how to use them to set up different cloud environments. And because Azure is also extremely important, we'll expose you to the Azure environment, giving you the differences and similarities between the two. You'll then move into doing the same types of functions in Azure Microsoft environment. And then we'll move on to designing infrastructure solutions in Azure, which will take you a bit deeper into how do you create larger cloud infrastructure for your organization. Figure that based on the organization's needs, its geographic distribution, all those other factors. That leads into the final module, which is the Cloud Computing Capstone Project. In this Capstone Project, which I'll describe a little bit in more detail later, you will pick a problem from several different options based on different industry domains and real-world challenges that companies face. And you'll pick one of those as a case study that you will then design and build the cloud computing solution that solves that problem. It's about a 3 to 4 week process. It's done under the mentorship of one of your instructors, and that becomes essentially not only your final project for creating your certificate awarded, but it also becomes something in your portfolio that you use to demonstrate to anyone you care to that you have the skills in cloud computing and the experience to back those up. Along the way, you have electives. One type of elective are the periodic academic master classes where Caltech instructors come in and talk to you about in more depth about topics in the industry. You also have the ability to call on your instructors for office hours and for what we call project hours, which are specifically for you to consult with them on how your projects are going. If you have a project you've been working on that you've reached a point where you're at a dead end or you've gone down a rabbit hole, they can help you with that. So along the way, you will be using a number of different tools. So it's important to know that you'll be using them, not simply being exposed to them, watching videos about how they work. You'll be required to take these tools and implement projects and solutions through them. So at the end of the process, when you put these and many other tools on your resume, you'll be able to say, I know how to use them, and here are examples of how I've done it. So that's an extremely valuable aspect of the bootcamp style of learning. So just to reiterate about the Capstone Project, you're going to presented with several different choices, different industry domains, and you'll be able to pick one that you'll focus on. You'll focus on that for 3 to 4 weeks. You'll meet with your instructor weekly, review your progress, get advice on how to move forward if you have any issues. And at the end of that process, you'll have a complete solution to the problem, which will be submitted for grading and which will be part of your permanent portfolio to show off future. So we're really very proud of this part of our learning model. So here is where I'm going to ask Purushottam have play a video recorded. He is an assistant professor um, and he specializes in cloud computing, and he's a Google scholar. So he is one of our senior instructors. This is the type of person you'll be learning from. some of them from India, some of them from the United States, some of them from other countries, but all of them with industry experience and expertise. So at this point, I'm going to share with you his tour of the learning management system.
Sure. Thank you. Sharing quickly. Yes, guys. So, very warm welcome and thank you, Stuart, for giving me the opportunity. Yeah, guys. So, welcome everyone. A very good evening to all of you, and good morning to all others, those who are in different time zones as well. So, I'm Purushottam Asudani, and Stuart has already given my introduction. So, I'm working as an assistant professor, and I'm working as an assistant professor in Shri Ramdev Baba College of Engineering and Management, Nagpur, India. And I've been working as a lead trainer with Simplilearn in the Caltech batches. So let's get into the things. Right. So I'll just try to explain you how this works. Right. So see how this program works. So guys, when you register for this Caltech program, so it's a 11 months program and it starts with AWS Cloud Fundamentals, right? So that is the first course that you'll get into. AWS Cloud Fundamentals you do, and then um, you go with designing applications and architecture in AWS. So basically AWS Architect Associate program you go with. That is a 40 hours course, 10 days, 4 hours each, Saturday, Sunday. So 40 hours course. Then you go with Azure Cloud Fundamentals. Then you go with designing infrastructure solutions on Azure, which is again a 40-hour course, right? So that is how it goes. And then that is AZ 303. And then you go with implement, manage, and monitor on Azure environment. That is Azure Design Solutions. So that is AZ 304. So that is again a 40-hour course. So this is how it is panned out. Now, I'll give you the live demonstration of the LMS here. And basically, it would be very, very clear with that, how it goes. So this is the postgraduate program in cloud computing. So if we go to this program, you can see that, as I've already told you, so in the courses, the first course you have is orientation session for Caltech PGP cloud program. If we go inside that, you have self-learning videos which are there, plus you will have live classes as well, right? Then the second program comes out to be AWS Solutions. Second course in this comes out to be AWS Solutions Architect Associate, as I said. Now, in this, when you go, you have self-learning videos, which are the pre-recorded videos by an already available instructor. Then there is another tab in the LMS that you'll find, that is live classes. Now, in these live classes, you will see the recordings of the live classes. So as I said, it would be a 40 hours course. Every weekend, 4 hours, like 8 hours, Saturday, Sundays. So the recordings of those live classes will appear here, and you can always listen to it. It would be available for your lifetime. And apart from that, you can also listen to self-learning videos from an already available instructor, like some other instructor. The videos are already there. Plus live classes recordings will be available in the live classes tab. Then there is something called as practice labs. And see, in this live classes tab, you have my classes, wherein you will see the recordings of your ongoing class, plus you will see the available classes to which you can register for, and the past classes recordings, like if you have done some classes, so the recordings of those will appear here. Then you have the practice labs session here. Now in this practice labs, you can just launch the lab, and once you launch the lab, you can start doing the lab in this sandbox environment. Correct. So you don't need to have your personal account. Even if you want to do the lab, you can do it in the sandbox environment that is provided by Simplilearn here. So you can just start the lab, and you can start doing the labs. And as rightly stated by Stuart, that it would not be just that the instructors would be telling you something in theory. It would be concepts plus practical plus hands-on, and you would also be doing it in many of the labs along with the instructor, the labs. So this lab environment will help you to launch your lab and do the labs which would be taken up by the instructors. Then there is assessment part. So in the assessment part, there will be a project that you will have to complete in order to, complete this course. Now, this project will be taken up by the instructor on the last day of this course. So you, along with the instructor, would be doing this project. So instructor will help you out in doing this project so that you successfully complete it and you at the end of the program, you will get a certificate from the Caltech, right? But even when you complete each and every course, after each course, you can unlock the corresponding certificate for that particular course. Like when you complete AWS Solutions Architect course, so you can unlock this certificate. Now, the necessary condition to unlock the certificate is that either you should complete 85% of the self-learning videos or 80% of the live classes. You can satisfy any of these conditions. Plus, apart from this, you'll also have to complete the project. So as I shown you in the assessment part, there are two projects. So you have to complete one out of the two projects, and you also have to complete at least one out of the three simulation tests that are given in the assessment section with 60% marks, right? So now in the assessment section, when you'll see, so this project, one out of the two projects you'll have to complete, and the instructor will help you out to do it during your last class. In fact, you'll do it along with the instructor. And of course, he'll also help you out in doing these tests. So, in providing the required knowledge that you want to complete this test and to score that score in a manner so that you should be able to unlock your certificate, right? So these tests you will have to give one out of the three simulation tests plus one out of the two projects, plus either 85% of the self-learning videos or 80% of the live learning classes. If you'll complete, then you'll be able to unlock the certificate for AWS Solutions Architect Associate. So that is there. Now, apart from this, when you complete this course, then you will move further and you would register yourself for Microsoft Azure Architect Technologies. Now, again, in this, you will have the same thing, the self-learning videos, then the live classes. Live classes would be taken by the instructor. You'll see the recordings here of that. Then again, practice labs. So even if you don't have the Azure account, you don't need it, guys, because Simplilearn is providing you with the labs so that you can launch the labs and you can do the program and do your practicals, your hands-on activity in the Simplilearn Azure Labs. Then in the assessment part of Azure, this thing, you will have again a project and a test paper, two test papers here. Now you will have to unlock the certificate, you will have to do the project. Okay, so that is what you will have to do. And plus, apart from that, you should be completing either 85% of the self-learning videos or 80% of the live classes. And then you will be able to unlock the certificate for Microsoft Azure AZ303. So this is what you go with. Then once you are done with this, then you'll go with the designing solutions on Azure course. And in this, the pattern again would remain the same, guys. So you will have to either go with the self-learning videos, and it's up to you. Like, see, I would prefer you go with both the things, that is self-learning plus live classes. So both are given to you. But to unlock the certificate, the prerequisite is you should have at least 85% of self-learning or 80% of the live classes completed, plus the project in AZ304 again, right? So that is there. And again, the instructor will help you out to do your project during the last class of that course, Okay, so that is there. And again, you are provided with the practice labs. And let me tell you guys one more thing here, that the labs that would be taken or the hands-on activity that would be taken in your classes, see, that is going to be we people out here, we take real scenarios. Okay, it's not like that very simple labs we take it from simple to scenario based labs, so that you are good and you have the real experience that will not just help you to clear the certification, but that will help you in your working in your real operation in the industries, right? So that real environment we try to provide you when we take the labs on our platform here in Simplilearn. Okay, so that is there. Okay, then you that way you complete Azure Architect, AWS Architect, Azure Architect 303, and Azure Architect Design 304. And finally, you will have to complete a capstone project. And when you go to the capstone project, again, in that there is an introduction, so that is self-learning, or in that there is an assessment. So in this assessment, you are being given, you can see there are 4 problem statements out here. I can just read out the problem statements here for you guys. That is deploying an online movie watching application on cloud, or deploying an online doctor's clinic application on cloud, deploying a restaurant application to cloud, deploying cart management application to cloud. So this is an end-to-end project that you will be doing as a part of your capstone project. Now, of course, if you have to unlock this certificate of capstone project, then you should be attending 80% of the live classes. There'll be one live class only. There'll be a 3-hour session in which the instructor would be doing this capstone project for you, and you will be doing it along with the instructor. So you should be completing 80% of that live class attendance. Plus, apart from that, you should be completing 1 out of these 4 projects. So out of these 4 projects, 1 will be taken by the instructor during that live class. Now, it would be an end-to-end project, as I told you. And now by this time, you should be good in AWS and Azure both services. So you can do this project by either using the AWS services or the Azure services. So that will depend on you and as well as the instructor. So instructor can take it up on AWS or Azure, and you can do it along with that as well. So actually there'll be 2 classes. So 1 would be taken for AWS and 1 would be taken for Azure. So one instructor will take it on AWS, 1 on Azure, and the instructor can on AWS can take any of these problem statements. The instructor on Azure can take up any of these problem statements. You will, for unlocking the certificate, you'll have to complete at least 1 project out of these 4 to unlock the certificate, plus 80% of the or more sessions of 1 live class. That is what is the requirement, and that is how is the LMS goes. So once you are done with all these things, guys, that is the orientation session you attend, then the AWS Solutions Architect Associate course, then Azure Architect Technologies, Azure Architect Design, and then the Capstone Project. Once you're done with all these things, guys, you'll be able to unlock your PG program certificate. And just hold on. See, this is what is the compulsory stuff. Okay, these are the compulsory courses that you will have to attend and you will have to clear. So to unlock your PG program certificate finally also, apart from the individual course certificates. Apart from these courses, guys, there are some electives also. Now, as far as the electives are concerned, it is up to you. You can register for these electives also, and you can start learning these electives as well. So as far as the electives are concerned, so they have provided you with the Caltech CTME Cloud Computing Masterclasses, as rightly pointed out by Stuart. So there'll be the masterclasses by the Caltech professors, and you can attend them. Plus, apart from that, you will have a Microsoft Azure Administrator 104. So again, see, these elective courses, these are not mandatory, but if you do attend it, then you can do the self-learning in this, of course, or you can do the live learning classes also with the instructor, and the recordings would be available here. And the same way you have labs and assessment part in this, and you can unlock the individual certificate for this elective course by either doing again 85% of self-learning or 80% of the live classes, plus the project. And of course, the project would be handled by the instructor during your last class of this elective class. So you have elective courses on what? You have the electives on EZ104, that is Azure Administrator Associate, then EZ204, that is Microsoft Certified Azure Developer Associate. Then you have AWS Developer Associate, AWS SysOps Associate, AWS Database Migration, Google Cloud Platform Architect. And guys, let me tell you, if you go to any of these courses, the pattern for unlocking the certificate remains the same, and the pattern of learning remains the same out there, right? In some courses, there is just self-learning given, and you can unlock the certificate by doing 85% of the self-learning classes like Google Cloud Platform Architect. And in the others, like if we'll go to the others, that is say AWS Database Migration, in that you have self-learning, and then you can unlock the certificate if you do again 85% of the self-learning videos. And then apart from that, let me just scroll to the others also. So if we go to the AWS SysOps Associate, so in that you have live classes plus self-learning, and you can again unlock the certificate by doing the live classes, all self-learning videos, plus the project and assessment, right? So that's how it goes. Plus, apart from this, for 204 and 104 also, you have, and AWS Developer Associate also, you have self-learning plus the live classes that you can attend. Okay, guys, so this is what is all about the LMS. Not just this thing, plus apart from that, guys, if you go to this community tab out here, so this is really interesting and this is really useful, I would say. So there is a community forum. Now, during your course, like if you have any queries, you can ask it during the class to the instructor, and the instructor will try to answer all of your queries. Apart from that, if you come across any query after the class, like when you're doing your lab, and if you're not understanding anything, if you come across any query after the class, so what you can do is you can put your questions in the community forum here, and they would be answered by the technical team in Simplilearn, right? So you don't have to worry. Even after the class, if you have queries, you can just raise your queries and your queries will be answered, guys. So you have the community forum for the same. Okay, so that is there. So that's there. Plus in my resources, you can see the blogs that are being posted on different activities. You can just go through that as well if you wish to. Of course, this is not a compulsory activity, but if you are interested, you can go through the blogs that are posted for different topics that you can always go through. Right, guys? So that is what is the what I can say, the overview of the LMS, okay, and what courses you will be offered in the cloud computing and how you can attend them, and then what would be the completion criteria for those courses. So this is what I have told you guys.
So first, Shatan gave you a pretty thorough demonstration of the learning environment in all of its different aspects. And the program is run by Caltech CTME under the direction of Rick Hefner, who is the overall program director for the center, and John Wetch, who is the director for the cloud computing program. These are gentlemen who have a great deal of experience in industry, several decades, and experience in higher education, government consulting. So these are folks who know the material, know the needs of industry and academia both together, and have designed this curriculum to prepare you for entering the industry and succeeding. Talk a little bit about learner outcomes, where the people come from in these batches, who you'll be learning alongside. you'll be learning alongside people who come not only from information technology and software, but also from finance, banking, e-commerce, industry, manufacturing. So you'll be learning alongside people from a lot of different companies and backgrounds, and gives you an opportunity to network with your fellow classmates, and get exposed to many different opportunities out in the workplace. So we're very proud of that fact as well, that companies send their people to this program to become cloud certified. I mentioned that we have a career assist service, and that extends for 6 months after the end of the boot camp. This is in conjunction with a company called Talent Inc. It includes not just their services, but also access to a webinar program that we run, where we provide career webinars and expert uh, speakers on an ongoing basis. We also uh, consider the project portfolio that you develop during your boot camp as part of your career assist, because that's something that you then use to demonstrate your experience. And then the job assist services formally consist of access to the Talent Inc. job portal called Resume Rabbit, which allows you to apply for an exclusive set of jobs from them through their employer network, and that gives you complete confidentiality and privacy as you apply, so that your current employer doesn't know what's going on. Uh, the That's a valuable service, but in my opinion, the other two parts of the service are more valuable. The resume review and rewrite is important because in today's environment, resumes have to go through an automated tracking system, uses AI to filter out matches between job descriptions and resume content. So in order to pass that filter and be matched up, your resume has to be formatted in a way that the AI bot can read it, and in a way that it can recognize what your skill sets and experience are compared to the job description. That is a challenge in itself. And then the second part of it, of course, is the resume still ends up going in front of human beings on their screen or on their desktop. So it still has to be attractive to them from that perspective. So making a resume that achieves both of those objectives is kind of an art form, and that's what this resume review and rewrite service helps you with. Professional writer who will take you through that process, draft your resume, and help you fine tune it for those purposes. And then the same thing about interview services. You have one-on-one sessions where you practice the many different types of interviews that you'll encounter once you are called in. You'll have phone screens that you'll have to pass. You'll have direct interviews, which are either over Zoom or in person. Some of them will be for your new technology skills in cloud computing. Some of them will be for your fit with company culture, management styles, and that type of thing. So you have to be prepared for all those types of interviews, and the interview service will help you with all of that as well. So we think that those are extremely valuable to you. Again, they extend for 6 months after you complete the boot camp, and this is not a job guarantee program. This is a program to help you with your job search. So I mentioned the expert webinars. You have webinars with people who are technology experts who will go into details about particular technologies or about the industry in general, or will help you with job search skills or with career planning skills. So all of those things are available to you. These are free webinars on an ongoing basis, so you'll be able to access those for a lifetime, and talked about the different applications and for the project. As Pushtom shared with you, you have the 4 different choices for your capstone project, and the one you choose will become your final exam in the program, but also your showpiece for future employers. So we can share with you the next program. The boot camp starts on February 18th. So this weekend you can start classes with an induction session tomorrow if you want to start as quickly as that. Of course, there are other sessions coming after, but this is the soonest one you can join. The cost of the program is $9,999 US, and it can be financed for as low as $880 a month. That is zero cost financing for 12 months. But for being here today, as I promised, there is a bonus. So if you sign up from this webinar, you will be able to claim a $500 discount on the cost of the program. So that will reduce both the total cost and the monthly payments. And I'm going to share with you in the chat the link to our program page as well as to the email, askus@simplilearn.net. Bear with me as I put that into our chat box. And there you go. And at this point, based on what you've heard so far, are you interested in enrolling in this program? I'll leave this open for about 10 seconds. It's a yes or no question. And the poll. So 2/3 of our audience are interested in the program. I will share with you how that works, steps are that you need to take. And it's very straightforward. You contact us at askus@simplilearn.net. Be sure to mention that you attended the webinar, have earned the $500 discount, and they will review your criteria. Again, this is the bootcamp program. The criteria are very straightforward. You may get a simple assessment test that talks about your aptitude in technology and your desire to pursue this program. But based on that, we'll send you a letter of admission. Start as soon as this weekend. And on that subject, how soon are you interested in starting this program? So we'll let this go for, again, another 10 seconds. Okay, here we go. So almost half of you are interested in doing this within the next 3 months, perhaps not starting this weekend, but in March or April. And for those of you who are looking to start this further out, please contact us at askus@simplilearn.net so that we can keep in touch with you, answer any questions you have. And at this point, I'm going to take your questions. Quickly go to where we've been accumulating some of these questions. Do you need to have basic programming language skills to learn cloud computing? Again, you do not have to have that in order to join the program. In the program itself, you will be exposed to different scripting languages and tools. A lot of cloud computing is essentially non-coding, so don't have to come in with that. You'll get everything you need during the boot camp. Question from Kalyani is, can AI innovation make cloud computing obsolete? That's an interesting question. There is something called cloud AI. It is a discipline within cloud computing for applying AI techniques to things like resource allocation. And it's an area that you can pursue after this program. So we don't think that AI is going to make anything really obsolete. It's going to make it possible for people to accomplish more using AI tools. Let's see if I can get to one of the other questions we have here. There's someone who's asked, I mean, project management looking to become a project manager for cloud migration. Is that possible? Yes, that is definitely possible. Your project management skills will be extremely useful in the context of cloud computing, since cloud computing often requires implementation of new architectures or new infrastructures. Having that background in project management gives you an advantage in understanding how to organize that work, and schedule it, and make sure that it gets accomplished. Philip asks, I want to specialize in databases on the cloud. Is this the right program for me? I think this is the right program for getting the foundation you need to do that. You will be exposed to how databases in the cloud differ from other architectures, and you'll get the understanding you need of cloud computing environments, so that in future, if you want to go deeper into cloud database management, you'll have the solid foundation for that. So in my opinion, yes, this is a great program for you to start with. What are the chances of landing cloud solutions positions after the completion of the program? So again, we offer you the career assistance for 6 months. So we're helping you as much as we can with that. And what we've found, EY, the consulting firm Ernst & Young, has actually found that 90% of the people who take training through Simplilearn achieve their objectives. And we're very proud of that fact. So we do not offer a guarantee of finding a job, but we do offer you a good track record of helping people with that, and a good track record of accomplishment, or learners accomplishing with that. Take another look here to see if what time will the live lectures be? These are usually timed at 8 a.m. to noon on Saturdays and Sundays. Not sure what that is in Universal Time. I know what that is in India, that would be 9:30 p.m. So you'd have to translate with your world clock. And okay, I think that covers those things. I think we had one other question. I'm trying to look up the answer for you real quick. We had, we had a question about average earnings for a cloud solutions architect. And I think the best place to look that up is to go to Indeed or Glassdoor and see what the birth rates, salaries are in your area. They tend to be pretty high. The average annual salary, according to Glassdoor, for people in cloud computing, this is not necessarily for people at the entry level, but average annual salary in the US is 130K annually. So it's a big number. It's a great field. It's growing. We think it's an excellent career choice. And with that, I think we have covered I have a question from an anonymous attendee. We'll try to if you would email me with that question, because you have a specific personal issue, you can email me at askus@simplylearn.net or stuart.creek@simplylearn.net, and we will make sure we follow up on that. I want to make sure that we're doing your concern is attended to. So with that, I'm going to complete the webinar. And we'll complete one last question. This last question is, do you need assistance with enrollment? And if you would like to get a certificate of attendance for today's session, please answer yes, because we can send that out to you. But otherwise, if you need help from askus@simplylearn.net or have other questions, let us know. We will contact you. And I'll leave this open for just another 3 seconds. Okay. About 60% of you are interested in getting information, so we will handle that. And we want to welcome all of you into the Simplilearn learning community with Caltech CTME. We hope to see you in the boot camp in future, and we hope to help you succeed in your cloud computing career. So please contact us at askus@simplylearn.net to get the process started or to ask any final questions you have. The QR code will take you to the program page. And with that, we conclude our webinar for today. So again, thank you all for being here.